Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey, welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You. It is Transformation Tuesday, and we do as we do every time we get here. This episode today, y'all, I don't even know where to begin, but I will say, as often as we talk about self-love on this channel, we typically don't talk about it from a male's perspective. We typically talk about it from us ladies. We talk about it within relationships. We talk about it, within our careers, etc. And we talk about it when we talk about daddy issues, but we really don't talk about men embracing self-love. Now that men are actually moving into the era of taking care of themselves, doing things their way, that self-love is becoming prominent also in their world. And they are starting to go to therapy and they're getting healing and they are starting to not allow relationships to just be relationships. They're actually being a little bit more intentional within them. And so today's episode is called Loving Yourself First, the Ultimate Relationship, the Male Perspective. And y'all know I'm not doing this show without having a man on because we need their perspective. And today's guest is none other than Mr. Louie V himself. Now, we're friends and
yeah.
I wouldn't, I would do my own introduction, but he probably wouldn't like what I'm going to say because it's going to be from my perspective. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. He is a couples and male coach. And so welcome to the show, Louie.
Hey, thank you so much. Actually, with the way you just described it, I would be interested to know how you would have introduced me. That would have been very interesting and all. I guess we can talk about that maybe after the podcast, I guess. What happened.
Yeah.
So no problem. Again, what's going on? What's going on, family? I am Louie V. Again, that's how I'm widely known on social media instances. I am a relationship and healthy masculinity coach. I have quite a bit of experience in a number of different areas. I'm a retired nurse, ER nurse and airback nurse out of the military. And I'm also a T kind of guru, so to speak. So I know a little bit about everything and I'm an expert at nothing. So, but I'm here and I'm excited to actually have been asked by Coach Tammy in order to be a part here, to be able to share the male perspective where we are with self-love as a man. So thank you again.
Awesome. Again, we are excited that you are here. Male's perspective on self-love, we typically don't get it. We don't talk about it. We talk about men from a standpoint of relationships and how they show up. Lately, narcissism has been the big thing, and men going to therapy has been the big thing. So from your perspective, the first question I have is, why do you think self-love has become more important to men, and why was it a feminine concept?
So for men, self-love for men at this point is actually like knowing your worth, right? Without actually needing individuals' validation because of it, right? It's holding yourself accountable. It's speaking to yourself with respect and walking away from what drains you. Even when things actually look good, like it's working out, it's eating right, it's resting, it's forgiving yourself. It's doing all those things in order for you to be the best you, because so many other individuals are actually completely dependent upon us. I think it's been viewed often as a feminine concept because society kind of taught men that love, especially love for self, looks like softness, right? It looks like weakness. So we're raised to believe our value comes from what we do, not actually how we feel. So when you mention self-love to a lot of men, honestly, all we can picture is bubble baths and affirmations, right? And it's not really boundaries and discipline. So the truth is, like self-love for a man is not really about pampering, although that's what most of us end up seeing when you hear that. It's really about preserving us, and it's about protecting
Mhm.
peace, protecting our purpose, and actually our presence as well. So I hope I answered it. You asked in, Coach.
A mess. Yes, you answered the question.
Yes, ma'am.
I do think it's very interesting that men immediately think it is about a self care perspective when we think about self love. Because you mentioned the whole pampering yourself or affirmations, etc.
Uh,
I
right.
do think that's a common space that people have termed self love to be, but that's technically self care. And yeah,
It
self
is.
care and self love are not the same.
They are not the same, but that's exactly that's exactly what we think when we hear.
Yeah, which I think is a thought pattern that we actually have to change because self care is a part of it, it's not all of it. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of times because we think it's all of it, that's the area that we focus on. And then we skip the places like self forgiveness and boundaries and compassion and capacity and, all of those things that actually create the essence. Because in essence,
Right.
self love is like, who are you? Right. And it's maintaining who you are in spite of other people. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to
Yeah.
be me. You're going to learn to accept me versus me always shrinking to be
Right.
approved by you.
Yep. Yep. And you actually made a really, really good point earlier when you talk about the way we're starting to transition and actually start to look at the needs of men, right? And men's mental health and helping more men understand the importance of self-love. And then on my end, when I'm talking to men and I'm talking about the importance of self-love, I often get the question, what does that look like? And what do you mean? And what have you? And so, like you say, it's part of the entire reprogramming that has to happen from a male perspective because all of this is new to us. Men's mental health is new. It is. Think about it. You didn't hear men's mental health 10 years ago. You didn't hear the importance of that, to be honest with you, almost even 5 years ago. You may have heard it from a professional standpoint, but most men out in general, nobody was talking about our mental health. Nobody was talking about us caring for ourselves. That was never a discussion. So this is new. And so it's
Mhm.
opened up almost kind of Pandora's box for most men because they're still trying to understand and navigate. You're telling me it's okay to take care of me and not be considered weak or soft. So there's a lot that's transitioning and happening at this particular time when it comes to me.
But what does it really look like, though? When you talk
Yeah,
about men are asking, now that I'm doing, like, what does that look like for me? And how do I maintain masculinity in the process? Because I also, my encounters with different men regarding mental health and therapy, etc.
yeah,
The first thing is because therapy has been looked at as a woman's thing too. It's not,
right.
just the
Yeah,
self-love piece. It's the fact that I'm
yeah,
gonna sit down and talk to somebody and share what
right.
I'm feeling.
Yeah,
That becomes problematic, right?
it does. It,
So
yeah,
how do I maintain masculinity and get the help I need
correct.
and become a better person and have that level of assurance and,
Yeah.
peace and,
Well,
but still operate?
okay. Well, you asked about 4 to 5 questions in that one question, and that's
Did you
very
try
typical.
me like that?
That's very typical of you too. I'm just telling you, I'm usually ready for all of that. So since it was so loaded, let me back up a little bit. So, so the first thing men have to understand, men have to understand that masculinity isn't fragile, right? And that a real man can still lead and he can still feel and he can protect and still be gentle, right? That strength itself is not the absence of emotion, right? It's actually the ability to master that particular emotion. And so the key there for most men, they need to understand is that there's balance, right? You need to know when you're supposed to armor up and put it on, but you also have to know when you can take that off and understand that there's actually power in both. And you also asked about, so what is it what's keeping me? And I guess from that particular point, like what's the apprehension when it comes to men and self care and things of that nature. And I'll be honest with you, it's pride, it's fear, and it's traditional programming that has happened with us over time. You know, again, remember, we're taught that emotions equal weakness, and we watched our fathers bottle it up. We watch coaches tell us continuously, you need to man up, boy, quit crying. Our culture at this point even rewards stoicism over vulnerability. So we naturally learn to suppress instead of express. That's what we do.
Mhm.
But as you
Yeah.
know, anytime you suppress something, eventually something's going to leak, and it's going to show up as anger. It's going to show up as silence, detachment, resentment. So again, it's the education of men that still has to happen in order for us to truly embrace what that looks like, uh, to be, in essence, emotionally secure, to be okay with addressing that, well, also showing them that, hey, just because you decide to be soft doesn't mean that you're less of a man. Just because you decide to be vulnerable does not mean you're less of a man. Just because you decide to give an ear does not mean you're less of a man. And again, I think generation to generation. So I think we're dealing with a lot of, in my age group, Generation X. So I'm a Generation X baby, right? So I still have a little bit of, my father, grandmother from those 60s and stuff, 50s. So I still have that mindset. Now my kids, right, who are now in their 30s and late 20s, right? They don't get as much of my father's generation or my grandmother's, right? They get more of me and their mothers. So I think what's going to happen as you watch it, what's happening, and you can see what's happening. We talk about the YNs, right? Like, so you start looking at the generations behind us. They are a little more in touch with their feelings, and they do romanticize things a little more. So my hope is that as men grow, nurture, not they'll be still be men, but understand the importance of taking care of yourself in order to be better for
Mhm.
those that depend upon you.
So ultimately, it's not a compromise. It's not
Absolutely not.
giving one away to
Yep.
exchange it for something new. I think a lot of
Absolutely.
times men think it's a compromise. They think it's, you know,
Yep.
I can't be this and that.
Yep.
It's this
Either or.
or that.
That's right. Yep. That's right. It's just so that we have to be either or. We can't be both. And again, we're still learning that you can actually do both and still be considered a quote unquote real man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times, though, because of the definition of a
Okay.
man that we've
Hmm.
created, um, and because we don't give room for change in definitions, like, and it's
Yeah.
not that the definition changes, but I think it expands.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is we need to include the emotional side. Like,
Yeah.
y'all are still human. You weren't
Absolutely.
born without emotions.
Yep.
You were just taught not to address them. You were taught not
Yep.
to,
Yeah. I mean, but
embrace it.
that's right. Yeah. You think about it. We've always been taught that in essence, our feelings don't matter. Feelings don't matter. I heard a great example the other day. Uh, a guy was asking a young lady. He said, "If someone breaks into your house, and it's you, your husband, and your kids, someone breaks into your house, you get a chance. What would you do?" And she said, "I would cry and I would scream, I would tremble, and I would do all those things." And he said, "Well, your husband doesn't have the luxury of doing any of that. He has to swallow all of his emotions at that moment to do whatever he needs to do to protect his family from what's in front of him. And he may be scared as hell. He may be nervous. He may want to cry, but he can't do that. So he has to swallow his emotions. And so most men, of the mindset that we can't feel. It's also why later on in life, you you wonder why, like, men and men children don't, they don't share the "I love you." Fathers don't typically hug. All of those things. I had the benefit of having a man that was very secure in his masculinity as a father. I had no problem with telling me he loved me every day. But you have my my college line brother he and his father had never said they loved each other. So when he saw my father, when he was, wait, what is that about? You know? and hugging. But again, you're right. It's that real definition, and we need to expand that definition other than things that are truly masculine and are defined by testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when you think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm listening to you talk about how your dad did it for you, but
Yep.
your LB did not experience it, never
No.
understood it until seeing it by somebody else.
Right.
Yet, when I think about today's kids,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, you don't really see that exchange male to male. And I think, of course, it has a lot to do with us being in single parent households
Okay.
and the man not really being super present when it comes to
Right.
kids.
Okay. But now, is it that? And so, I always have this twist on, you know, what we see versus actually what's happening. So you also don't see that promoted in the media, right? You also don't see that promoted in social media. You don't see fathers hugging their children. You don't see what happens when all these black men are at these schools at the beginning of the year, high-fiving students and giving away backpacks and showing the love and doing those things. We don't, that kind of stuff doesn't get attention because it's not controversial enough. And so I think a lot of the onus of this is on people like you and I to also show uh, that there is and that there are men out here that show up and support and are still consider themselves a manly man. I mean, hey, there are men that won't even wear pink. I mean, I'm sitting up here with a pink shirt on, but I know men that will not wear pink because they feel like it's not manly. And you have to educate them on the thought process there. So yeah,
It's just a color.
it's just a
Like,
fact. That's what I always say. It's just a color.
it's just a color.
Right.
That's, I mean, October being breast cancer awareness month,
Yeah.
you'll see the shirts put out and it'll say real men wear pink
Pink.
or whatever. And I think to even be not forced, but to even have to put that on a shirt
Yeah.
for a man to put on says a whole lot about the mentality
Correct.
behind it,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. You're right.
Because it's just a color.
It is just a color. But you do have a lot of men that believe that men and colors will signify your sexuality. Right. I know plenty of guys that just wear black, browns, and grays. They would dare not. You could not get them to wear turquoise, yellow, pink. Like that literally for them undermines the very definition of a man. So, again, I'm at the point in my life, I don't give up. I've always been a color guy. I've always liked bright colors. That's just me. I've always embraced them. Uh, but you have a lot of guys that still have kind of that old school mindset. So there is a lot of education that happens, but I'll be honest with you. I just think with this generation, it's going to take a couple of generations for us to finally get to that point. You have a different kind of man that's out, that's in touch with himself, that understands that is healed, that understands the importance of self-care and not just the physical portion of those things, learning how to remove himself from things that don't serve him well or stress him out and things of that nature. Like all those things probably going to happen next generation or two to come.
I think it's sad if we think it has to take a couple of generations
It is.
to correct itself.
Yeah.
But I also think about the generation that exists right now who wear tight jeans like it ain't nothing.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Tight jeans. We got I think some folks in your great state wearing young men wearing skirts. Just saying they all over the place wearing their pleated skirts. Again, but that's a whole nother discussion for another day. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's right in the definition of manhood, though. You know what I mean? Like, they're basically like, no. Oh, no. Boop. So, nope, it said your recording stopped because You got a phone call. Is it back on? Okay, great.
Right.
So, the beauty part though, the fact that they can change it for what they want to change it for, to
Mm-hmm.
me says, why do we have to wait several generations? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
manhood back in the day, you weren't wearing them pants and you definitely ain't wearing no skirt. So, but they
Yeah. But
have revamped it and they still find that to be in their world masculine. It ain't masculine in your world,
yeah,
but in
no.
theirs it is.
And theirs it is. But again, that's what I'm saying. So because you have this full generation of decision makers that are Generation X that are now leading in all these different areas, whether it's politics, whether it's corporate America, what have you, and the next generation is also in that right at the beginning piece of that era. There's some are in politics and what have you. So what I'm saying is that it's going to take a generation to move on and another generation or two before masculinity has completely been redefined. Because I can tell you right now, the tight jeans I'm not putting on, the tight suits I'm not wearing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not something that we're doing. You know, but so that's what I don't think it's been redefined as of yet, or it definitely hasn't been accepted as being. There's still
Oh,
going to
that's a
be,
good one too.
yeah, there's going to be several definitions floating around for a minute, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I'm about to switch gears just a little bit, not
sure.
too far,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? But
Uh-huh.
how does the lack of self love in men affect relationships?
Mm, I knew we was going to get to the relationship piece. I knew it was coming. All right. So a man who doesn't love himself will actually demand from others what he's missing within. Does that make sense?
Say it again.
A man who does not love himself will actually demand from others what he is missing within. So, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, he'll confuse control for care. He will validation for connection, right? Intolerance for loyalty. So I'm saying without him having any self love, he also can't give love freely. He actually gears it from a place of fear. And fear based love always feels like work to both the people involved. So again, if he lacks caring for him, if, if he's controlling of a woman, then he believes he's caring. If he's never been validated as a leader, as a provider, he'll feel like that as long as he's connected to that woman, he is validated. He'll think you're loyal to him when you're really just tolerating because he's being an ass, so to speak, or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, those things that he lacks within, if he's not a loyal individual, he will search for that from somebody else. So that's what I'm saying. A man that doesn't love himself, he typically demands others missing in him.
You said fear based love. So
Yeah.
you was gonna need to expand
Yes. So
that
he's
concept. People don't talk about fear based love. People don't talk about
yeah,
like
yeah.
that is even a thing.
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. You're loving someone, you know, based on either uh, uh, a need they provide. Like I say, a guy that doesn't have loyalty, isn't loyal, has a girl that he believes is loyal. He only loves her because of that particular quality. It's not really, and to be honest with you, fam, I don't even know if we qualify that as love as opposed to a need. She's meeting a right now need for that particular individual. But it is a real thing, and I'll be honest with you. I actually think a lot of men have fear-based love. I do, really, really do, because we tend to love unconditionally, but I think we love. I look at that. I see that look on your face. We do. We absolutely do. See, that's a whole nother discussion for it and another podcast for another day, man. But
Oh
just think,
no.
yeah. Okay. Well, we
We
can go.
right, we right.
We right where we
Oh
need to
no,
be.
no, we right.
Okay.
What?
Okay. All right. I
Y'all
got
do
you.
what?
We do. We do. We do. We do. We do. We can go
I'm
into this.
listening.
Yeah. So anyway.
Oh, I'm listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Uh, and so we do love from a place of that nobody cares about us. Nobody really gives a damn about us. But as a man, I'm supposed to love regardless. I'm supposed to provide and do regardless. It doesn't matter if I'm loved in the same way. It doesn't matter if you look at me, if you're willing to do for me. All of that is irrelevant. I am obligated to love you regardless and do for you regardless. And you know you can't say the same for women. You cannot. You cannot. You cannot say that you guys are obligated to love us regardless. You're not obligated to provide for us regardless. You literally just said in the definition of a man earlier, we're supposed to provide, we're supposed to protect. Why are we supposed to do those things? What about us says that? Why are we supposed to do those things? Why is that part of the definition of being a man? Just saying. I know. I know your
But
mind is all over the place. You're ready.
y'all, he do this to me all the time.
Come on, Dr. T, let's go.
So
Let's go.
I do think that is two-sided,
It is.
right? Like
I agree.
I think because the obligation of women and what they're supposed to do from that feminine side,
Mm-hmm.
to me is the same. It may not
Yes.
be exact, but it's the
Mm-hmm.
same. So, maintaining and nurturing the home and making sure things, that's an obligation too. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's still an obligation to love, because to do those things mean I love you. Like, I'm not doing it just
Does it?
because.
Does it?
But if that's the case, does protection and provision mean you love me?
But that's what I said. That's why I say we love from a place of fear. We're obligated to do it. It doesn't mean you're absolutely right. It does not mean that we love. It does, but I'm obligated to do it, and I can be,
Are you?
absolutely, and I can be penalized for not doing it.
What's the penalty?
Guess what? Everything that a man is supposed to do can be enforced by court of law. Nothing you do can be. I'm supposed to provide for you financially. I'm supposed to provide shelter for you. I'm supposed to provide a means of living for you. Any of those can be enforced by a court of law. You keeping a house
If you
comfortable,
marry me.
right? If we're married, right?
Yeah.
But you keeping a house comfortable can't be enforced by law. You loving me, you providing sex to me cannot be enforced by law. Well, they do have it now that they can sue you for that piece from both sides. So I stand corrected now. I stand corrected because you
I
can
was
be
going to
sued
I was
for.
going to get you. I
Yeah,
was
you were
going
gonna
to
get
get
me.
you.
You can go get me, but what I'm saying is that I'm saying we keep talking about how men love from a. I mean, we talk about loving from a place of fear was how we got to this point. That's what I'm saying. It's there's an obligation that naturally happens for men, and we know we have to do whether we want to or not. We have
But I think women feel that way too in
to.
certain circumstances, because most of this is from a standpoint of marriage
Yeah,
versus just in general, like
right.
dating or, committed relationship. So, and we're looking from a standpoint of marriage, women feel that way too. They feel
Okay.
obligated too,
Mhm.
because you can piss me off today and I'm still obligated to feed you. I'm still obligated to make sure, you good.
But
I may not want to fix
obligated.
your plate today.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You may not want to, but then also on the same breath, if you're talking about marriage, right? Hey, and I piss you off, but later on that night I want some.
I'm still
You,
obligated
you,
technically to do it. But if you're a real woman
yeah,
operating within that marriage,
yeah,
you obligated to do it. You
yeah.
may not
You're,
want to.
yeah, you're supposed to, but we know that's not the way things are. But I still got to pay the mortgage the next month. I still got to pay the mortgage the next day. I still got to take care of these bills the next day. I'm still obligated. I'm just telling you, Dr.
I
T,
mean,
we can roll on this. I'm just saying.
in today's world, everybody's working. We all contributing to these bills. Just
Everybody's
keep it
working.
a
You're right.
buck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody
Everybody,
contributing to these bills.
absolutely.
That's
But
not solely on him.
no, it's not.
It's on
It
him
shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
mentally.
It shouldn't be.
I think it's a mental thing though. Like I feel like as a man, a real man,
Uh huh.
because I am one of those that believe we have male boys that
Absolutely.
are chronologically aged.
Yep, I agree.
But
I
as
agree.
a real man
Mm-hmm.
who feels obligated to take care of his household and family,
Yep.
I think most of that is a mental responsibility versus, and most, not all, before y'all start writing me. Um, they'll do it real quick. But
Yeah.
instead, most, and what I'm saying, and the reason I'm saying it's mental is because if we are in a household where both parties are financially contributing to the healthy finances of this household, it does not solely lie on him. But because she's contributing, she's working, her finances are covering
Yep.
these bills. But I think mentally, it's if such and such happens, I'm responsible for fixing it. If such and such, goes wrong, I'm
Yeah.
responsible for making sure it gets taken care of.
Right.
And it's more, like I say, it's more mental because it's not that she's not contributing to the equation.
Right. But let me
She's
ask you this.
contributing financially.
Okay. Let me ask you this. As a little girl, you were never told. Don't look that way, Dr. T. You were never told that you were going to grow up, have a family, and take care of that family, and provide for that family, and protect that family. You weren't told that. That's not how you were. We get that as a little boy. You're always, one day you're going to grow up, you're going to have a family. One day you're going to grow up, you're going to have a wife. You're going to have to take care of your kids. You're going to have to provide for them. You're going to need to work because you're going to need X, Y, and Z. I'm just telling you. So it's ingrained in us from the time we're here that when we get older, that we might as well prepare ourselves to take care of someone else, put our needs aside because everybody else needs to be taken care of. So you're
Yeah.
right. It's in us mentally that we're supposed to take care of the bills and everything around it. Now, it's a bonus when you have a woman that's willing to chip in, that's willing to do what she needs to do, or what have you, say, hey, if we're going to do this, then it takes both of us because this day and age, it takes two incomes. Absolutely. To really, really enjoy life. So I get it. But I'm going to tell you, you can just look on social media. That's a rarity. That is a rarity. You don't have a
Yeah,
lot
but
of women thinking
social
the same way. Yeah.
social media ain't real.
Well, that's right. It
But
ain't real life at all, right? But it's the message
it
is what
ain't
I'm saying.
real.
The message keeps going out there. That's
Facts.
all you
The
see.
message,
The
the
message.
message is,
Yeah. The
you
message.
ain't lying. That's
Yes.
the message. That's what
That's the
everybody
message.
wants you to
Right.
to
Yep.
see and believe.
Yep.
But
But so then think
that's a
about
whole
this.
whole nother subject.
Absolutely. Because if you keep hearing that message, if you keep hearing that message, so you start looking at statistics today and they talk about how many men that are healed and done well have no desire to be married again. Right? They have no desire.
Facts.
They're not.
I'm
They're
glad
not
you
doing
went
it.
there.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's the message. Because you got to think about it. If I'm a man on this end and I've done well for myself and I'm out here and I've been through something rocky before, I've been through hell with a woman, guess what? And I keep hearing that every woman wants to be she's been taking care of herself. Now all of a sudden though, she actually wants to use my money to take care of her and control that too. Like most men, they're just not willing to do it again. So you got more and more men that are deciding, nah, I just rather have a life partner. But then you got more women over here that are ready to be married. And that's what I'm saying. It's like we're getting further and further apart. The divide is getting wider and wider. So, Dr. T is going
That
to be up to
that
you to
it
bring that
is.
up.
That it is.
Yeah.
The divide is getting wider, but
Hmm.
it's getting wider because of the hurt that's been caused from both sides of the fence.
That's part of
Um,
it. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree. No, I agree with you.
so
Yeah.
I think a lot of that, like, is it fixable? 100%.
Hmm.
If everybody is willing to do the work.
Yeah.
But I do think that we have a lot of women going to therapy and getting healed, and we have a lot of men who are starting to go to therapy and do the healing process and starting to love themselves a little more.
Yeah.
Um, and some that, and I'm about to ask you that question in a second, but there are
Uh-oh.
some that don't want to do therapy because of what it brings about for them.
Hmm.
Not a lot of men want to deal with the past for real. They
Yeah.
want to do what I call quick stuff.
Hmm.
And quick stuff is the 1-2 step, the 1 2 3 4. You know, give it to me real quick. Let me do these steps and change everything.
Yeah.
So when you think about it from that perspective, what if you were
Wow, today's episode is a good one. I know you're enjoying it, and we'll get back to it shortly. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that Tammy would love for you to share any questions, comments, or topic ideas you have with her. All you have to do is send them to her in an email to podcast@IamTammyNicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
if you were teaching a young man or even an older one how to start a self-love journey, what would you tell them?
All right. So listen, I got you. So here's what I'll say. And when it comes to that point, um, I do actually got a couple of guys that I talked to about that piece, the journey of self love. And I use a lot of these myself. The first thing is to make sure as a man, you check in with yourself daily. You need to literally get up and ask yourself, how do I feel and why? I have a buddy of mine. She texts me every day and asks me what's my number. She's typically asking me my number on a scale of 1 to 10. How are you feeling? And so I literally get up and ask myself, how do I feel and why? And once I assess that, because I truly am a firm believer in a lot of times you determine how your day goes from the moment your feet hit the floor. It's up to you to decide to have a good day or not. The second thing I think is that you got to be comfortable with setting boundaries. You got to be comfortable with saying no without having guilt because of it. Because as a man, we feel like we have to say yes to everybody that needs us, everybody that wants something, everybody that we need to point to. So you got to be okay with saying no. Then the third one, of course, and you know I'm a big proponent of this, you got to move your body. Men have to, you need to work out in some way, shape, form, or fashion. You're a bike rider, ride bikes, if you like to run, jog, a rower, it doesn't matter. You need to move your body on a regular basis. It doesn't matter what that is. I'm not a gym head. I'm not a gym rat. I'm there a couple of days a week. Don't look like that. I'm there 4 days a week at a maximum. But again, it's important to be in the gym as we get older. You need that. You need that compounding. And then also speak the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable. My father was big on saying, you need to man up. He meant no matter who you're talking to, no matter what you're talking about, be okay with not being widely accepted. Be okay with speaking your truth. Then also, I think it's another opportunity for men in order to down this journey of self-love. You need to spend some quiet time with just you, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, whether it's journaling, whatever you need to do that helps you kind of hear your own voice again when you can get away from all the noise. You need to do that on a regular basis, whatever that is, once or twice a week, 3 times a week. I know some people that journal every day. I know some people that pray and meditate every day. Then last but not least, you got to be willing to forgive yourself. You cannot heal what you keep punishing yourself internally. And, Tammy, you've talked to me about that. I got to give myself some grace. So, and I understand that. So that's what we have to be willing to do, and most men don't. And I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else. It's hard to give yourself grace everybody depends on you all the time. You can't deliver. It just, you're going to always beat yourself up about it. So those are some things I think that every man needs to do as they kind of work out of getting into self-love. That's got to be part of yourself.
Absolutely. I think you cannot forgive what you don't acknowledge, right?
Yeah.
And you can't heal.
Yeah.
So, because forgiveness is a part of the healing process, and the healing process is a part of the self-love journey.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we want to sweep things under the rug and act like it didn't happen.
Yep.
Accountability is key to being able to really look at the thing and say, either I did that, or I allowed that, or I feel this way because, like, being able to look yourself in the mirror and say, this is who you are, this is where you are,
Right.
and this is how you got here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And journey out a new path.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to have a plan for it. You can't just be like, oh, this is what I'm doing. No direction. There's got to be a plan.
Yep, absolutely. So you actually, I think you hit the nail on the head. If you don't acknowledge what's wrong, you can't forgive yourself. You can't start to heal from it. And you also can't become a better person, because ideally we're supposed to make mistakes, accept them as they are, learn from them, and then be a better you. Ideally. It doesn't always happen.
Which I'm about to backtrack a smidget back into that relationship section, because in relationship, you're supposed to grow. You're supposed to become better people. And I'm saying people because it's two involved. I think self-love has a lot to do with that, though. I think on both parties, but I mean, I know we here talking about the fellas.
Yeah. But no, this is it. Keep going.
Huh?
And I said, no, keep going. You're good.
Yeah. So it's, I think because self-love really should be involved on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I think with it being absent is also a contributing factor to why people don't grow within the relationship.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's one-sided. Women are they're more like exploratory when growing and learning about themselves than men are. Men tend to stay stagnant in who they are. It's like, what's the phrase? I'm me, like I'm who I am. Like I don't like what you see is what you get type.
Yeah. Well,
energy.
Yeah. But that's because we define ourselves by what we do, how much money we make, what we own, those type of things. And that's how we define ourselves when it comes to manhood. Women, you are more emotional. So like you said, you will delve down that path, that journey of getting to know more about you and who. But that self-love piece, as you alluded to earlier, again, that's what happens in those type of relationships when both individuals or one individual does not have self-love. They are looking for all of that from the other person. They're looking for that. They're looking for that. And guess what? Then you wear the other person out. You wear them down because they're trying to be that for you. And most of the time, it's women trying to be that for me. And I know we wear you guys down on that piece, but because you're so nurturing, you feel like as a woman, you need to be that for him, and you can't be that for a man. You can't save him. You can't do it until he decides that that's what he wants to do as an individual. All you need to do is support him in his efforts, but you cannot do it for him.
Yeah, we don't know that though.
I know.
We don't know it. And I think that part is a part of our self-love journey, is to learn that understanding our capacity and understanding our limits is way more important than forcing him to be what we want.
Yep, that's right. And you can't force him to be what you want. He is who he is. And,
Facts.
yeah, he is who he
But
is.
we try.
Oh, absolutely. And you waste a lot of
We
time and
try
put a
often.
lot of effort doing that. We are who we are. And like you just said, that's what we say. We are who we are. I am who I am. We're not
Yeah.
changing. I did hear one time though, a man said, a man will change one time in his entire life for that one,
For the woman
for that
for her.
particular woman,
For
for her, whoever she is.
Yeah.
But
Steve
only one,
Harvey says it all the time.
but only
Steve
one
Harvey
time.
says it all the
That
time.
really, yeah, only one time. That's it. So
Yeah.
I don't know about it.
It's a lot though.
Yeah, I don't know about. I agree with Mr. Harvey, but hey, that's a whole nother podcast too. Some things.
Now that is. And
Yeah,
we might have to go there one of
I
these
know.
days.
And one day, I got
But
you. There you go. Yeah,
you already know. You know how I am. So
I do.
if you were to give a message
Mm-hmm.
to the fellas that listen,
Okay.
which surprisingly, I mean, I'm surprised that y'all listening because fellas is listening at 15% when I look at my status.
We always listen. What are you talking about? We
Uh,
paying attention. We're paying attention when y'all don't think we're paying attention because we multitask.
oh.
That's what we do. We can be over here building bookshelves. Still hear what's going on now. Y'all gonna give us a script.
Okay. I don't know about that, but we,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
what message would you give the men that are listening who battle with actually embracing self love at the rate of just like really moving forward with it? Like right now, they probably are like, that sounds good, but I don't know. Like I'm like my masculinity ain't built for that. But they also secretly, because y'all have your secret thoughts too, secretly are saying, I probably should do that. Like I probably should tap in just a little bit more to my emotional side.
Yeah. So I think again, I need to make sure that most men understand that self love for a man is not a feminine quality. Self love for a man really looks like you understanding what peace is to you. You understanding that you don't have to chase validation. You choose alignment.
Mm.
You listen more and learn to react less. You lead without trying to be controlling, but you love others without losing yourself. Hold space for others because you finally learn that you can hold space for others, also hold space for yourself. You become a more confident man from clarity. It has nothing to do with your ego. So, loving yourself first is not selfish. It's actually sacred. So, kind
It's
of my thought.
actually a requirement.
It, well,
It's a requirement.
it
You
is,
know,
but we're not taught that.
recently,
Yeah.
recently I discovered this. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I discovered this. So, a lot of times, men, if they're Christian or spiritual, they like to use like what God says about the hierarchies and how things are supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, I discovered this. Like, even God told us to love ourselves first.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, people like to act like God is all about the like everybody else. And not that he didn't care about other people, he clearly did, but he still cared about you first. And when he says love others as you love yourself is a clear indication that
Yep.
you had to start with you,
Yep.
that it wasn't about everybody else first.
Right.
So as a man,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't gender specific. It wasn't like ladies,
Right.
love yourself, then love your man.
Right.
And men take care of everybody else, then love yourself. No,
Yep.
it wasn't gender specific. It was for everyone.
Right.
And so it's not selfish. It's a requirement.
Yeah. That's right. It's absolutely not selfish. But again, that's not what men are taught. That's not how we're raised. So because of that, it's now a new constant battle for us, trying to take care of ourselves, understanding it's important to take care of ourselves, because if we're not right, then guess what? We can't take care of nobody else. We can't afford anybody else.
Facts.
Right? Mentally we are gone. You get to a point where you're like, look, I have afforded everything I got. I don't even have nothing left for me. Again, it's just how we're taught. And
Yeah.
so it's hard we're now trying to reprogram the mindset of us. That's tough. It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
tough one.
Unlearning it.
Yep. Yep. But that's
Yeah.
when it's important to have the right woman in your corner. Right woman. Because women, you all are your superpower for me is inspiration. You ladies, again, can convince men to run through a brick wall head first. You all are inspirational. And that is your superpower. And so that's when it's important. Man that has the right woman in his corner, he'll get it. He'll understand the importance of self-love, because she will inspire him to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we all trying to be we so busy being hurt that we all trying to stay single.
Everybody, so that's why all of a sudden now you got life partners starting to pop up a little more, right? Yeah.
But even I think
Yep.
even in that, you have people that are still fighting to stay single because of the perceived obligation.
Yeah. Right. Well, then that all boils down to the communication piece, right? And we don't talk enough. And people like to put on airs about what they really want instead of just being honest and saying, hey, look, this is what I need. This is what I want. If that's something you're not willing to do, if that's not you, that's fine. Hey, then I'll move on and find will be. But we don't have those hard conversations. We don't want to have those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But I appreciate you joining me on this episode to teach these men that loving themselves is a requirement.
That's right.
Essential and not really a choice in the matter. Like, I'm going to need them to get it done.
Listen.
Because they're going to make the family a better place to be with. Like, it starts with them. Like, 100%. If we're going to really fix our community and our cultures, we got to fix the men first. And I don't mean fix y'all, but y'all know what I mean.
No, you say
it starts with y'all.
But so here's what I want to say. I want to leave you with this. We're talking about men, right? So for my men, remember your peace is actually your power. And women, your strength is not the absence of your softness. It is not the absence of your softness. We need femininity for masculinity to do what it needs to do. But when we both learn to love ourselves like we're supposed to, we actually stop loving from a place of pain and we start loving from a place of purpose. That's what we got to get to. And that's what we got to get to. So
I 100% agree.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's a great exit. Now tell the people where they can find you so they can get this good coaching 1-to-1 and 1-to-many.
Absolutely. So you can go to thelouisv.com, and that's TheeLouiv.com. And then and you can always get snippets and good good videos to help you throughout the day on TikTok, right? On Louie V Living Out Loud. And please feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'd love to be able to connect with any of you. Feel like you need a little bit of push in a different direction.
Yeah. And if y'all want some bedtime stories, you can go to the school app.
Yeah. We got bedtime stories going on the school app too. So we got a lot going on. I'm just trying to reach the people. That's all. I'm trying to reach the people as much as possible. Yeah.
See, that means I'm a real good friend.
You are a good friend.
However,
yes, ma'am.
No, go ahead. No.
I was just going to say thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all that you do. And thank you again for allowing me to be a guest. And I hope I didn't derail things too bad. But this is how we normally talk anyway when we're discussing things. So It was
We
very
do.
organic, and that's usual for us, usual and customary. So I appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I guess I'll bring you back one of these days.
One day, just bring me back so
No,
we
I'm
can
just
talk
playing.
about some other stuff.
Oh, of course, of course. Absolutely. Again, remember, love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus. You know exactly where to find me. But if you need coaching, go to coaching at IamTammyNicole.com. If you have questions that you want me to answer, send them to questions at IamTammyNicole.com. Remember, self-love is essential, not an option. Have a good one.
That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you'd like her to answer, please head over to www.IamTammyNicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.